بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
طبعا
الحمد
جميل
لله
جدا.
رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. This is part of our ongoing series on Meet the MCNJ community. Alhamdulillah, we are proud to interview our noble brother, close friend, and proprietor, Al-Akh Al-Fadil, Asim Khan. So if we could go ahead and we'll get started, inshallah, with the interview with our brother Asim Khan, inshallah. I just have a few questions for you. And I'm sure many of you are already familiar with the format. But the first question is, what do you do?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. What I do is, I sleep, I eat, I wake up, I live life.
Just like the rest of us.
I pray.
Allahu Akbar.
Salah, is there something else you're looking for?
That's great, Akhi. You do the same thing the rest of us. I'm glad to know that you're human.
Alhamdulillah. No, I mean, I guess you're asking professionally. Professionally, I am an engineer, civil engineer, and I do construction and real estate development, investments, and construction. I do a commercial and residential construction.
Okay, mashallah. And how long have you been in the MCNJ community?
I would say from the time we had a baptizing tub on our second floor. So it's been a while.
Subhanallah. Alhamdulillah. And what are some different ways that you've contributed to the community or different projects that you've been involved in here at MCNJ?
I would say at one time, usually when the masjid first began operations, I was a little bit more involved, I would say, on an official capacity. But with the business stuff, then I started a business. It just took up a lot of my time. Haven't been involved as much as I would like to, but one thing that I was really involved in was YM when it first started. Alhamdulillah, me and another brother actually tried to really start that off in the beginning, and alhamdulillah, it kind of took off. And they kicked me out because they said I was too old. I wasn't young anymore.
They keep trying to pull me in, man, and I'm pretty sure I'm older than you.
That discrimination right there, bro.
It's the beard, Effie. Grow it out a little bit more. I think they'll let you back in.
Well, yeah. If you're past the age, you got to bring something extra, which I don't bring. You bring ilm. I had nothing to offer.
Allah musta'an. Allah musta'an. What are some things that you enjoy doing in your off time?
In my off time, I don't really have off time. I have 3 kids, alhamdulillah. So, spending time with them, playing Monster with them. I'm always a monster, always the bad guy. I do that. I enjoy biking. As you know.
Yeah, I keep trying to get you to go biking, Effie. Like you keep avoiding me. I feel like every time I'm like, yo, let's go biking together. You're like, oh, I'm already there, or I just got back.
One of those personal things you want to do alone,
I mean, that's part of the group ride. How much conversation are you really gonna have?
No, I do that. I play basketball. I like to play basketball Sundays with a bunch of brothers. Pretty much it. Okay,
mashallah. In the last question, what are some things that you would like to see done in the community? I mean, you've been involved for a long time, and you were, definitely, mashallah, very active when the community first started. So you have a good idea of where the community was and where the community is today. Where would you like to see it go, and what are some programs that you would like to see?
I feel like our community, alhamdulillah, we're blessed with a community with very sincere people, alhamdulillah. Obviously, every community has its challenges, but one thing I see over here is the sincerity of the brothers. So you have to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. In terms of where we're going, obviously there's always a lot of room for improvement. I think one of our main challenges, and I guess it's hard to anticipate this when we first started, is, and I'm involved in construction, so I always think of stuff from like facility purpose, right? Our facilities, I believe, we definitely have a limitation to how much we can do with the facilities that we have. I would like to see, a basketball gym for the kids. I think that does wonders. I think it did wonders for MCMC. When they had a gym, the community just became a lot more active. There's always something going on. We need a place for classes, proper classrooms. So I feel like, inshallah, if we can, come up with some kind of plan where we can increase our capacity for facilities. And I think with the vision that you have and the board, a lot of it can be achieved with the facility. So, and I'm ready to help in that. Um, you know, talking about the Samuddin, inshallah. So let's see where we go with that.
Inshallah. So, I mean, I guess there are a couple of ways of approaching that and dealing with that. Either we expand our footprint and we purchase a second facility, or we expand on the current facility that we have. What do you think would be, because you've been here for so long and you have an idea of the layout, you have an idea of the number of people that come, what do you think will be more reasonable or more realistic?
I know we made offers to some of the neighboring properties, and unfortunately, we were not able to acquire any of those properties. So taking the whole community and moving it to a different location, I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, that would be ideal if we could, even if it was like a warehouse that we bought nearby. But I just don't know if there's anything available. So with that said, your only option would be to expand on what we have. Although we don't have a lot of space right now. We really, if I think where we're going to expand, our parking lot is limited also. So, if you take space away from there, you're already, you're making something that's small already. You're making it smaller. So I wish we could expand where we are. I just don't know. I don't see the space.
So what do you think about purchasing maybe like a second property in addition? So not necessarily shifting the community, but adding another community space.
I think at that point, why don't we just buy something where we can just shift, right? Where we can have the masjid and just have a bigger facility. I think that part of keeping the community together is having a facility together. Even with the MCNJ, there was a big debate about whether when they want to build a school, should they just buy another building and just keep the masjid where it is? And then they decided like, no, we want to keep it together. And you can see it just makes a huge difference in terms of like community involvement and support, even for the school from the masjid. People go to the masjid who might not even have kids going to the school, but they see it as part of the masjid, right? So I think even with us, if we have something that's together, if somebody's playing basketball, it's time to pray. We're praying with the Jama'ah, right? So if we could, ideally, we could, get one facility together, something nearby. It's not like we have, it's not like we have a big presence of Muslims right around the masjid, right? So even if it was within a mile, I don't think it would really affect or deter people from coming to the masjid.
So I mean, and along those lines, what would you say is one of the biggest strengths here at MCNJ? What do you think it is that attracts people here?
I think under the ongoing programs, and this has been going on. One thing I really liked about the board is when they've been looking for imams, the decisions that they've been making. Obviously with yourself and even Imam Asif before you, I was very pleased. I wasn't involved in those decisions, but I felt like, wow, the board is really trying to do something for the community rather than their own self-interest, or like a personal decision. They actually think like, no, what is best for our community? So alhamdulillah, I feel like, with the programs that, has come from the leadership, has been excellent, in getting the community involved and getting the youth involved. And I see that, I see it with you. I saw it with Imam Asif. Alhamdulillah, it's very good to see that. It's not happening in all the masajid. To have an imam who almost serves as like a full-time youth coordinator also, that just doesn't happen,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess there's a real challenge with what we like to call legacy imams too, right? Imams that have been in the position for a number of years or for a very long time. I think that deserves a conversation of its own. Like, what do you do with those legacy imams that have been there for maybe like 20 years, 25 years?
You're asking me?
I'm just saying, it's a question I'm throwing out there. You don't have to answer it. You're not obligated.
It's incumbent upon us as a community to look out for people who have dedicated their lives to the deen, right? It can't get to a certain age and be like, well, you don't relate to the youth, so too bad. Like, no, that experience that they have obviously goes a far way in helping.
I was gonna say I'm gonna end up in that position one day, man. So I'm trying to get ideas to keep my job too.
You better have a side gig going, bro. No, with that said, I think those masajids should look into hiring a youth coordinator, a full-time youth director or somebody, or even part-time, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think just replacing somebody, I don't think that's the answer,
Or, I mean, not maybe replacing the person, but changing the role and changing the responsibilities. I think that's a reasonable way of doing it
Yeah,
too.
I agree. I agree. Imam, assistant imam,
Mhm.
director of education, academic affairs, things like that. Yes,
I mean, all those have incurred costs too, right?
Yeah, well, the more services you want, I'm a contractor. I'm like, hey, the more you want, the more you got to pay.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Unfortunately, our community doesn't understand that, though.
Allah Mustaan. Allah Mustaan. So, I mean, do you think that's the community's fault, or do you think that's the way that it's presented, or do you think it's a combination of the two?
I think part of it is transparency, right? When people in the community feel like they know exactly what's going on, how much things are costing, right? Then they realize like they need to step their game up. Sometimes people put the onus on others, like, okay, well, I'll give $1 because somebody else will give 5, right?
Mm.
But when you realize like, things cost money, every service that we look for, utilities cost money, right? And how much is that? It really is a non-for-profit organization. And when they feel like it is, people will step up. And then when they see the need, now that I have kids, I see how important it is, right? Before maybe I just didn't see it as much. But now that I have kids, I feel like, no, like I need somebody to teach them the Quran and go to the masjid, and somebody's got to sit there and teach them, because I can't do it. I just don't have the patience to do that. So somebody, needs to be compensated for that. So I got to start coughing up more money. So a lot of it just transparency. I think, alhamdulillah, Muslims generally, give,
No, walillahi alhamd. I mean, the thing is, if you look at the ratio of schools to the number of Muslims, the number of masajid to the number of Muslims, the number of funeral services, there are a number of Islamic or Muslim services that we have out there, and almost, I don't want to say all of them, but there's a large number of them that are strictly running on donations. Would you agree?
100%, which is, unfortunately, that's what we have right now. That's our setup right now. We don't have a concept of investing in endowments. And even the massages that do have endowments, there's really no transparency. So people really don't have trust in it. They don't see how it works. You might just see a sign that says, endowment fund or donate to our endowment, but you don't see like the universities, like the Harvard and the Princetons and the Yale. They have endowments which are returning great money, and they keep increasing their principal amount. People keep donating more to these endowments because they see results from those endowments. So again, I think it just comes back to transparency and getting our people accustomed to an idea of investing for the masjid, right? Right now we donate $1 and gone, right? But we got to get used to the idea of donating $1, which is not really going to pay a salary or not really going to, feed a person, but it's going into a fund that will feed a person.
Yeah.
And a lot of work needs to be done on that.
Inshallah. All right, akhi, jazakallah khair. It was wonderful talking to you. I think it was a wonderful conversation. So there is one final question. It's not loaded, and and that question is, and I ask this to everyone. I don't always get a hold of the next person, but the question is, who would you like me to interview next?
How about brother Samiuddin?
Samiuddin? Samiullah.
Samiullah, sorry, yeah. No, we
Samiullah,
have Samiuddin and Samiullah. Any one of those.
Okay, khalas. Any.
Let's do brother Samiullah, yeah.
Okay.
He's been involved very long time.
All right.
Yeah. Let's see what he has to say.
Khalas, that'll be great, man. That'll be great. Khalas, all right. Jazakallah khair, ya akhi. May Allah bless you and reward you. And please, like we say at the end of all our videos, please like, subscribe, and make sure to donate generously. All of the links will be below. Jazakallah khair wa baraka feek. Wallahu a'lam. Wa sallallahu ala khairi khalqi nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.